Welcome back, everyone. And we're going to start things out a little bit differently. We're going to head to Canada and talk about the Canadian Football League to start. We have a lot to unpack, so let's get straight into it. Let's start by predicting who's going to win the Grey Cup. So, starting with the West, we have number 3, Calgary, going up against number 2, British Columbia. It, these top three are stacked for the West, so this could go either way. And to be honest, is I think that it's ultimately going to come down to the flip of a coin in this situation, and and I think that it's gonna go to Calgary in this situation, based on the fact that they're still a pretty solid team. I think they got momentum going into this. But as for the East, we got two mediocre teams going up against each other. Hamilton's the defending East champs. They're having to go on the road against Montreal. They both suck mediocrity. In a nine team league, these two are the worst. But I'm going to only give this to Montreal because of the fact that they have better record and probably have better play overall. But the chances of one of these two making it far or to the Grey Cup is not good. Now that brings us to the semifinals, division finals, whatever. Er, Winnipeg are looking to three-peat, and I think they will indeed make it back to the Grey Cup again. And they just have too strong of a team. They're the best in the league. I think they have everything going their way at this point. I mean, and as for the East, it's going to be no contest. The Toronto Argonauts are going to move on with ease to represent the East in the Grey Cup. Now comes the big question. Which of these two are going to win it all? The best of the East and the best of the West. Despite the success, there has to be some chaos was involved in the mix. Let me fix this. And I think that this year ends up going to Toronto. Despite being about 3 years removed from winning the NBA Finals, the city gets another championship because we need some chaos in our lives. But that's the Canadian Football League. Now we go to the MLS. I forgot to fix that. Who cares? Our MLS Cup Finals is now officially set. Both number ones will be facing off against each other for in most likely Los Angeles. Or who takes it home? New York got far, but they cannot defend their title here. So under this new prediction, I'm gonna go with Los Angeles for this one. They just look better on paper. Not to mention, they want to stinge off the whole thing about being being little brother to the galaxy. And long story short, it's their time. So we are not gonna go into predicting the NFL right away. Instead, going to the MLB. The World Series is officially in full swing. Game one was taken by the Phillies in a 6-5 comeback. Whereas game two, not so much. Astros take that one 5-2. They'll play again in Philly for game three of the World Series. Chaos ensues yet again. And it's that time of the month. Since this is Halloween, it's time for an end of month standings read. In terms of divisions, the Devils currently lead the Metropolitan for the Eastern Conference with a 6-3 record, whereas the Rangers are second at 5-3-2. The main reason is they are below is because they played an extra game. Wrapping up the top three is Philadelphia, the Flyers at 5-2-1. They have tiebreaker over the Hurricanes, who are 5-2-1, currently looking at wild card. Rounding out the Metropolitan Division, the Islanders at 5-4, Washington at 5-4, or the Capitals, I should say. The Penguins are at 4-4-1. And dead last are the Blue Jackets at 3-7. In the Atlantic Division, the Boston Bruins are 8-1, leading the division, followed by the Panthers of all teams at 5-3-1. Sabres having a surprise start at 5-3 to finish the top three. The Detroit Red Wings are looking at wild card right now at 4-2-2, which is one thing to say. Rounding out the rest of the division, the Lightning are starting to feel the wear and tear of three straight Stanley Cup Finals appearances at 5-4. Where the Canadiens are 5-4. The Toronto Maple Leafs are 4-4-2, and Ottawa last in the division with a 500 record. Western Conference. And, oh boy, we have a different story here. The Stars in the Central Division lead with 5-3-1. The Jets, Winnipeg Jets are 5-3-1. Chicago Blackhawks ran out the top three at 4-3-2. Colorado Avalanche and the Minnesota Wild are tied in the division at 4-4-1. They could potentially be in battle for wild card this early. Rounding out the rest of the division are the Predators at 3-5-1. The St. Louis Blues at 3-4. And dead last, the Arizona Coyotes playing in a college facility in Arizona State at 2-5-1 with embarrassing locker rooms. And now for the Pacific Division. And the Vegas Golden Knights are having an 8-2 bounce back start to the season. The Edmonton Oilers are 6-3, and rounding up the top three are the Calgary Flames at 5-2. The Seattle Kraken could potentially be looking at wild card early on at 4-4-2. Rounding out the rest of the division are the Los Angeles Kings at 5-5. Vancouver Canucks who had an abysmal start to the season and with blown leads galore. They're currently 2-5-2. The San Jose Sharks at 3-8, and dead last the Anaheim Ducks at 2-6-1. Now let's talk about the NBA. Hey, at this point in the season, the Milwaukee Bucks are a perfect 5-0. Followed by the Cavaliers in a surprise 5-1. Boston Celtics looking to defend their representation in the East at 4-2. The Atlanta Hawks are trying to bounce back, also at 4-2. The Knicks are at 3-3, and the Hornets of all teams are coming off a surprise win against the Warriors at 3-3. Currently looking at play-in rounds are the Toronto Raptors at 3-3, the Washington Wizards at 3-3, the 76ers at 3-4, and the Bulls at 3-4. Currently on the outside looking in are the Pacers at 3-4, the Heat at 2-5, Pistons at 2-5, the Nets at 1-5, and the Orlando Magic at 1-6, dead last in the Eastern Conference. Moving over to the Western Conference now. The Trailblazers are 5-1 to start the year. They're trying to bounce back after whatever last season was. The Suns are looking to maintain contention at 5-1. The Spurs are 5-2. Jazz 5-2. Pelicans 4-2, and Grizzlies 4-2. Looking into the play-in rounds are the Timberwolves at 4-3, Nuggets at 4-3, Thunder at 3-3, and Mavericks at 3-3. And now on the outside, looking in right now, the Golden State Warriors, the defending champs, are 3-4 to start the year. Or believe it or not, the Clippers 2-4, Kings 1-4. They're going through another bumpy road. The Los Angeles Lakers started 0-5, finally got their first win of the season, and the Rockets dead last at 1-6. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the National Football League. First, let's recap every game that's been played up to this point for Week 8. Trade deadline. One trade deadline is most likely going to come and go with not much action. So there's that. Bills are now 6-1 and solely lead AFC East to themselves. Jets 5-3, Dolphins 5-3, Patriots starting to bounce back at 500. Bill Belichick is now the second winningest head coach in NFL history. Tom Brady loses 3 straight games. The Falcons are on top of the division. DJ Moore is flagged for unsportsmanlike conduct despite not being on the field when the penalty was called, which was for taking off their helmet. And the Eagles are still undefeated, baby. And speaking of the Eagles, they get to open up on a short week against the Houston Texans, which they should win easily to, to go 8-0 to start this season. If they somehow lose to the Texans, people are going to be laughing. No questions asked. Moving on to the 1 p.m. batch of games. The Chargers versus the Falcons. Chargers are coming off a bye, and the Falcons narrowly escaped from. Carolina with a win. Almost blew it. Almost blew it. And since I want chaos, I'm gonna pick the Chargers to win this game. And whoever leads the division in NFC South is gonna have a losing record because why not? Next, we got the Dolphins versus the Bears. There's Chicago's coming off of a loss. Go figure. I think the Dolphins are gonna continue their winning streak and beat the Bears in what could possibly be a close match. Next up, we have the Raiders and the Jaguars. Both of these teams suck. Uh, for the Jags, you have to be lucky to get stuff done at this point. For the Raiders, you still have Josh McDaniels as your head coach. There is so much wrong with both. And that's why I'm making this my tie of the week. The Jaguars involved for the second time in a row with this prediction. Same with the AFC West team. That is how things roll. And next, we got the Colts versus the Patriots. This is in Gillette Stadium. The Colts are likely gonna still roll with it, the quarterback they have now. The Patriots, on the other hand, are going to get this win and still be in division contention and with a 5-4 record. The Vikings and the Commanders. Oh God, that name is still so stupid. Vikings are off to their best start since 2016 and on a 5-game winning streak. And I am going to take the Vikings in this game. They're the better team overall. Next, we have the Packers versus the Lions. Lions are coming off a loss that they should have won. And the Packers, yeah, they're coming off an embarrassing loss as well. And this could potentially have painful implementations. But somebody has to win, and the Packers have the better coaching to actually escape this one with a bare win. However, it is possible that the Lions could steal it. Because remember, this is at Ford Field. They don't play in Lambeau till later. The Bills versus the Jets. I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills in this one. Yes, it's at MetLife Stadium, but at the same time, the Bills have the better talent and the better coaching overall. Oh, they continue to run with the AFC East. So there is going to be AFC East implementations here. It's suddenly competitive in the AFC East this early for the division, believe it or not. Rounding out the 1 o'clock games are the Panthers versus the Bengals. Well, Panthers coming up off a close overtime loss where they almost was actually won. And Bengals are going to have to take this one. But there will be laughters had if they somehow lose to the Panthers. You know it. Looking at the 4:05 game. Seahawks versus Cardinals. For some reason, the Cardinals are the favorites to win. this game. But here's the problem. The only reason the Cliff Kingsbury still has a job is because of Kyler Murray. Yes, DeAndre Hopkins is doing good as always. He's getting some weapons back like so. But it's important to keep in mind how the Seattle Seahawks are in this situation. And ultimately, I think that the Seahawks are going to win this game on the road. Geno Smith is looking much better than he has in seasons past. And we have some shockers. Looking at the 425 game, Rams versus Bucks. This is a rematch of the divisional round last season. And this is going to be between two quarterbacks that who are having not so great luck this year. Rams are taking a nosedive right now. And I see this one being competitive like so. The only reason I'm going with the Buccaneers in this situation is because it's at home. Tom Brady can get it done, I'm sure. And there's not much going on here. Next up is the Titans versus the Chiefs. AFC South football against a powerhouse team coming off a bye week that's going to win easily because the Titans suck this year. They're the only reason they're ahead in the division is because they've gotten lucky. You won't get as lucky against Kansas City. That's just fact. And there's not much else to say as we go into the last game of the week. Ravens versus Saints. Monday Night Football. Yeah, I'm not that excited about this matchup. As much as things tend to go, I'm gonna have to pick the Ravens in this situation. Not only do they have the better coaching, but they're hoping to win on the road and not blow another lead. That happens, the Saints win easily. We get a three-way tie at 4-5. It wouldn't be funny at all. That's basically football chaos logic. Not much else to say at all in this situation. Those are gonna be my picks. I'm sure you got your own, and there's not much else for me to say about it. And thank you all so much for tuning in. And if you would like to see more, or I'm probably about to make a playlist this on this series just to show how much it's evolved a little, even though it hasn't really evolved at all. Currently, the Detroit Lions are going to hold the first overall pick. That can change with the Panthers having a top three each draft pick. The Eagles still have a chance to secure a top 10 in for the draft. And then the Steelers looking at tank ball status right now. Now they're going to be on a bye week, so lucky for them. They don't have to worry about worsening their status if they can't play a game. And- But for the time being, thank you all so much for tuning in. And as always, I'll see you all in the next video.